fourth installment of Gearing Up with SBRE Brown, I'm going to whip out my big tool. This is on my bag at all times. This is big, it's oversized, it has a somewhat aggressive profile, that's why I always keep it on my bag in a pouch that doesn't look too bad. But this is a big, big tool. I'm going to show you what this is all about.
Okay, so this is a bit more EDC stuff, but this is not something I carry on my person. Today we'll be looking at a tool that I carry on my bag. My bag is a Maxpedition Falcon 2, which has a lot of MOLLE webbing, and I always strap this on there. Now, this is a big Leatherman tool, and I love this thing for a bunch of reasons. I bought it in the black MOLLE pouch. I bought that because it comes in a desert, sort of a tan pouch, which I liked a lot, but because my bag is black, I wanted to have a black pouch for it. Okay, what do we have in here? Well, let's first look at the pouch a bit. On the side there is pretty strong elastic fabric, and what I carry here is a Bear Grylls emergency whistle. I'm going to blow it. I won't blow it too loudly because I don't want to ruin your ears, but this one is pretty loud, and in an emergency this will carry further than your voice. If you are on, let's say, restricted fluids, you can't scream very well. This will just draw attention to people, and you know, if you're whatever in a survival situation, or if you are attacked or something happens, you need to draw attention. You see a fire, whatever. It's always good to have a small whistle with you, and you know it weighs nothing, right? Okay, on the other side, right here, we got some cord. Cord is something that's hard to improvise. You really need to carry it. You can't really make cord very easily. What I have here is about a good meter of simple cord. This is not even paracord. I don't need something that is super strong. I don't need this to rappel down. All I need this for is if I have to tie a small parcel together or something like that, I have a bit of cord. That's all. And I put that in the second elastic loop. Open it up. This is really heavy duty Velcro. There's more cord. There's a loop in here, and I guess you could put a small tool in there, but it could fall out, so I just looped some cordage through it, so you have just a little bit more cord. Always comes in handy. Alright, then in here is a Leatherman bit kit, the full set. You got two slots in the pouch to put that into. And I'm not going to go through all the separate bits here because that would take too long, but what you've got is an assortment of Phillips, flatheads, you have hex, you have Allen wrench things, you've got this, which, to be honest, I don't even know what this is called, this sort of weird hexagonal stuff. I'm not a huge DIY person, but what I do know is that this covers pretty much every yeah, I was going to say screwing need. That's probably not exactly. You need something more in the latex department for that. But in any case, you know, you encounter a screw, you can open it up with this. In my where I work, we have a foosball table, and the screws. We are quite. We bang our table pretty hard, so to speak. And when you bang something very hard, it gets loose. So the screws get loose. And then people always look at me because I carry this stuff, and we just pull out this thing and we screw them back in place, and the table works again. Also, might be interesting to see this small one. This will not fit on the tool, but this is for your glasses. So if you happen to wear spectacles, as I do, then you can always adjust the screws with this little thing, which is a pretty nifty little bit, I would say. Both a flathead and a Phillips screw on there, bit on there. Alright, now of course, then you have the back of the pouch, and in there is a sight adjustment tool. The tool that I've got in here is a MUT, a military utility tool, and it's meant for shooters who use an AR type rifle, and you can use this to adjust your sights. I don't have such a rifle, but this is a pretty nifty tool, and I always, you know, you can use it for prying. It's pretty thick metal. You know, if you really are in a pinch, you get attacked, I guess you could pull this out and you have yourself a nice little thing to defend yourself. But really, I don't carry this for aggressive purposes. If I can ever use this, you know, I will. So far, I haven't really had use for this, I must say. But you know, sport shooters, I'm sure that you would enjoy this. Okay, and then we have the actual, I mean, I love this. So you can actually, they thought about this thing so well at Leatherman, because you can just store this in the little strap that puts it to your bag, which I think is awesome. You can loop it through. This is just Molly webbing, so you can loop this part through here and onto your bag, and it's on there very securely. So I just love that. Now I know that you're dying to see the tool, so I'm going to pull that out, but the final thing I will say about the pouch is that it has a little grommet there, which is awesome because it is entirely closed off. It is canvas, so if water gets in here, rain or whatever, it will drain out, which is a great little feature. So you got a big pouch, which in itself already weighs quite a bit. Even when I remove this tool, whoops, I'm just using my little scale here, the pouch itself weighs about 70 grams, which is quite a bit when you think about it. Okay, now here we have the tool, the Leatherman MUT. I got the black version, and I don't use everything that's on this tool, but I do use a lot of what's on here. As I said, this tool was developed for the US Army, and it was developed to aid soldiers in maintaining their rifles, the AR-15/M16 rifles. So a lot of the tools on here are made specifically for that kind of stuff. So for example, when you have a jam and your rifle doesn't fire anymore, you can hook this into the rifle and sort of remove the shell casing from the chamber. I'm not a shooter, so if I use the wrong terms, then please forgive me here, but all I'm saying is there's a lot of that very specific stuff on there, but it actually has quite some decent functions. You've got a good clip, and if you don't like the clip, you can just use a little bit kit to screw this off, and you can just remove the clip entirely. I kind of enjoy it, but you know, if you want a flatter tool, then that's one way to do it. Here you have a punch. This punch is made to knock out the screws of the rifle when you disassemble it. I use it for fountain pen maintenance. If I have a vintage pen and I need to knock out the feed, I usually use this. Also, you can screw this off. Then you can put one of those brushes on there to clean the barrel of your rifle, which again I don't have, so I don't really have that issue. Here there is a female, so this would be a male adapter for that, to screw it on. Here you have a female adapter, which you can also screw one of those brushes on, and you can hold it like this and you can clean your barrel. Alright, so that is pretty good, I would say. Then here you have a brass awl, and this thing it's brass. This is meant to clean the bore of the rifle and stuff, and this should get gunpowder off of it. And because this is brass is fairly soft, it won't actually scratch your rifle. So don't use this for prying because it'll snap off. It's fairly soft metal. I do use this for if I have some type of metal object and I want to scrape off, you know, some dirt or gunk, because it is soft. It won't really scratch your whatever it is you are cleaning. Alright, here you have a holder for a bit, an additional large bit, but in principle you can also take one of those small Leatherman bits, which are flatter than regular bits, and you can just put that in if you want to have one additional bit that you know, you don't want to carry all of this with you. Alright, so then we come to one part of the tool. Here we have a knife. Now guys, I can tell you this knife, I'm just grabbing a bit of paracord here, I got some remaining strands. It is scary how sharp this knife is. I just run it across the paracord, it just cuts it. Now it's going to be more difficult to cut because I don't have any leverage, but even so you just cut it. Then you have a serrated edge, which of course is even worse. Yeah, it's not cutting it because it's too short. I'm going to grab a longer strand. If you have a rougher cord, serrated edge is always easier, but even with the clean edge, the fine edge like this, there's just no resistance. You can just cut things all day because it's so much fun, but this is pretty much scalpel sharp. So very, very nice and big knife. The whole tool is oversized. It's really meant to look aggressive, and that's what they did. Big black knife. Yeah, so aggressive look, but fantastic knife to use. I'll put it away because it's so sharp. Now we have a saw, and this is a nice aggressive hacksaw. As with the knife blade, it has a liner lock, so it will not accidentally snap shut, you know, on your fingers and cut you, because this really is a pretty good lock. Nice aggressive hacksaw. What I mean by aggressive is that these are pretty aggressive teeth. I just happen to have a block of wood. I'm not going to saw through it too much, but that is not even exerting much pressure, and you see I just blast through it. So very, very nice saw blade, which I have used in the past for just, you know, if you have to saw something quickly. It really, really works very well. Okay, opening up the tool, you have a big pair of pliers. Now again, this is really a big tool. It's here I have a Leatherman Skeletal, which is fairly small, but you can really see the difference here. This is a serious tool. And what I like about it is that everything about this thing pretty much is replaceable. So the knife or the saw blade, you can just unscrew it, you can put a new one on there if it gets dull. With the pliers, you have your needle nose, round, and you have your wire cutters, including hard wire cutters at the bottom there. You see, you can unscrew those, you can put new ones on there. So if they run dull, just replace them. They run pretty fine. I like that. You can have some really fine manipulations with this tool. Tolerances are very, very tight. So when I hold this, I cannot move it. So I cannot make the sort of bill of the pliers move. Very, very tightly manufactured. I love that. Okay, now at this end, what you have is a bit. And interestingly enough, this is one of the small bits. So here you have a number 1 Phillips and 3/16 of an inch flathead. I like that. What you have on the other side, here you have a hammer, which in principle you can use in combination with that punch. So if you have something like a screw you can't get out, you can put this in, and then you can punch it, pound it with your hammer. And this is hardened steel. This can really exert quite a bit of force. I have used that to knock nails in a wall, and that worked without any issues. So it's definitely an interesting tool. And also, what's pretty fascinating, now I'm not sure if I can really make this work with paracord, but this is a seat belt cutter. Yeah, it's hard to do it like this because you don't really, I can't really exert enough force, but I mean, believe me, it did cut it, and if you've got a seat belt, I'm pretty sure this is going to cut through it very well. So you've got that, and then we're not even done yet. Of course, here you have a carabiner, you have, you can use that as a bottle opener as well if you want. And again, that seat belt cutter thing, look, there's another screw. You can replace the blade on this if you want. So all of that is replaceable, which I think is very, very cool. Now what you have here is another bit, but this is a longer bit. You push this thing and then you can pull this out. Now as you can see, this is a very long bit, and here we have a 7/46 of an inch Allen bit, and this is a hex bit, which is, oh no wait, isn't this hex? This is torque, sorry, torque 15, and you can put that in here as well. Now of course it's very long, so you can't really close the tool, but then again, when you close it you can't really use it to screw anyway. So it's a very long tool you get, which allows to stick it into a more narrow canal, for example, if you know, if the screw is sunk into something. So you have that. So that is on this side, and it's really nicely done because the bit is so long. All of these things, look at this little thing here that really guides the bit in there, so it's not a lot of fiddling to get it in. And then you press this button and it keeps it secure in there, it won't fall out. And on the other side there's also a bit, which I'm just going to use this bit to push it out there. Here you have a number 2 Phillips, so the small one has a number 1, and here you have 1/4 of an inch of just a flathead bit. So you have 3/16 and 1/4 of an inch, and you have a number 1 and number 2 Phillips. And again, this is very long. It's beautifully made again. Here you just have that clip that has a little slot. You can just take your bit, put it in. It's guided along there. Then it's a little bit of a challenge to push it beyond that point, but then it just slips in. Then you push a button and make sure that it's nice in the middle, and then both bits are secured. So the final thing I'm going to do is put this back in. Good thing about this bit in this position is that it's going to make sure you don't accidentally put your finger in there and cut yourself on the seatbelt cutter, because you're protected by the bit. So in all, that's the Leatherman MUT. So I carry that on my bag, and I think with this I've got pliers, I've got a hammer, I've got a whole range of bits. I've got a little tool that I never ever use, but hey, might as well throw that on there. I have an emergency whistle, I have some extra cord, I have a cool pouch, and that's all there's to it. So the final thing I will say is, knives are sharp tools. That means you've got to use them responsibly. So think about what you're doing, especially a big tool like this. It can look aggressively when you pull that out, so be a little careful on how you use it. Apart from that, I think it's super cool stuff. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.